I'm Russell, I'm the best man, as you all know. Thank you. But I think we can all agree that today has been a long time coming. I mean, a really, really long time. Which, for me, I think it's strange, because Luke is a guy that loves a shortcut. Whether it's like driving his car, making money, he'll take the shortest possible route to get from point A to point B. But I think it got so bad at one point that Amy actually gave him till the 10-year anniversary to pop the big question. When he told me this, we actually sat down and discussed it, because with his little curious mind of his, working it over, he's like, I wonder what would happen if I missed that by a day or two. What would she actually do? And when we actually sat down and discussed it, we thought about it and we came to the same conclusion, which is after everything Amy has been through with Luke, and the fact that she still hasn't gone running for the hills, if he missed that date, she still isn't going anywhere. But Luke knew that up at that altar is where he wanted to be, so here we are. Now, actually, I think most people know Luke's been fairly involved in this wedding, which for most grooms don't really get that involved. They just sort of pay for whatever they've got to pay for and leave it to the bride. But he's been such a groomzilla. He's been right in there. I mean, it got so bad he actually wrote me a speech. I'm talking a big two pages front and back, full on thing. I think it started along the lines of today's a sad day and a day of joy. Hearts all over the world are breaking. Women wanted to be with him, men wanted to be him, and after I read that much, I just threw it in the bin. But yeah, it was a bit of a joke. But yeah, I mean, now's the part of the speech. I'm supposed to make loads of jokes and humiliate Luke, but when I sat down and started penning this, I realised that a lot of the stories actually, I was rather a central figure, and I'd only be humiliating myself, which didn't really want to do that. And plus, he's actually a very hard man to embarrass. I mean, look at him right now, for example. Sitting there, proud as a peacock, even though he's wearing a ring with more bling than his missus' engagement ring and wedding band combined. It's not normal, and neither's he. But the first time I ever met Luke, he invited me to play a game of golf. And so I wasn't doing anything that day, and I wasn't working at the time, and to this day I don't think Luke's ever worked a real day in his life, considering most of his days are taken up by polo, golf and tennis. No, it's like, well, he's not retired, is he? But no. So we went off and played a game of golf over in Basildon, and it's a nice sunny day, and so we went around the course as professionally as one would expect, with our tops off to the protest of the groundskeeper. And then all of a sudden, we're coming up to this really steep green, and so it's a really steep fairway, and suddenly he starts gunning it down the hill. He tells me to hold on. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? And then out of nowhere, he tries to jump a sand trap in the golf buggy. Doesn't quite make it, throws me clear in the process, hurt my shoulder a little bit. That should have been my first warning sign not to see the guy again. But besides that, even after that, we started to see a lot more of each other, and I still to this day can't figure out why. But when you first meet Luke, it's always hard to get a grasp on him, because it's very hard to tell where the legend ends and the truth begins. It's like, I think he likes it that way. He sees himself very much through rose-coloured glasses. It's like I can understand why so many people are confused with him. I mean, take his job for example. I mean, it doesn't help that he changes his entire career every 6 months. I mean, now he's gone from a diamond broker to a jeweller now. And it also doesn't help that Luke talks a lot of rubbish about himself a lot of the time. He spreads a lot of stories, and but anyone that actually knows Luke knows that you've got to take everything you hear about him with a pinch of salt, whether it comes from him or someone else, but especially if it comes from his mouth. But the one thing you can't doubt is the love he has for the beautiful woman sitting right beside him. Amy is Luke's best friend, and I think that's what makes their relationship so special. They're always having fun with one another. They'd rather go out together than separately. And when you're in their company, they act more like it's the first month of their relationship rather than coming up to the 11th year. And I think that's probably the best thing you could ask for in a partner to spend your life with, someone with whom the days aren't just dragging by, but with every day there's a new adventure. So me personally, I couldn't be happier that 2 of my close friends have tied the knot today, and I got to be a big part of it. So I'd just like everyone to join me in raising a glass to the new couple and the journey they're about to embark on as husband and wife.
Well done, Russell.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I don't know if Amy remembers this, but just before she was born, I decided to name her Mickey. A Japanese name that I'd always admired, spelled M-I-K-I. However, her mother stepped in, determined to bring this madness to a close, saying, one Mickey Ryan is enough in this family, thank you. So we have Amy, but as the old adage goes, a rose by now, the name smells as sweet. See? Yeah, so would you like to have been Mickey? No.
I would, actually.
Yes, nice name, isn't it? At this point...
I think I'm going to name my first child.
It's not too late, you know. I was going to... We won't do that.
Go on.
We did this on Christmas. I'd like to mention that I've always been very grateful to Luke and his family for opening their hearts and homes to Amy when we decided to return to God's country. It's not an easy decision to make to leave someone that you love and cherish to fend for themselves. However, she was settled here in England and had the broad shoulders of Luke to look after her. As I say, Luke fell into our family very easily as he had a great interest in American sports. A prerequisite, I might add, for any guy trying to make time with either of my daughters. I brought them up on American sports, right? He has even now started to play baseball, right, here in England, so which evens things up with the girls as Kate's partner Glenn plays in a team too in Canada. So to wrap this up on that note, I would like to say that we haven't so much lost a daughter, but has gained another baseball player. Long life and happiness to do both of them. Bless you.
Cheers.
First off, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today and joining us on this special day. I'd like to thank, first of all, the bridesmaids for not just for today, but for organising such an amazing hen recently to Paris for Amy. It meant the world to her that you all went. I'd like to thank Mike and Margaret, Amy's mum and dad, and Kate for flying 3,000 miles to be here today. I know over Christmas that you had lots of other plans, but yeah, it's amazing where you will go for a free meal. Or two, or three. But yeah, literally, you know, you've made Amy's day by coming over. Everyone's made Amy's day by really just going out of their way to try and help her. So thank you. I'd like to thank my mother for paying for today. Without you, it really wouldn't be possible. And yeah, literally helping Amy with the dress, driving her from fitting to home because I can't be anywhere near it or see anything to do with it. Yeah, because I was busy at work, Jason, thanks for pointing that out. Does it show? Yeah. Yeah, no, literally everyone that's helped out, I thank you very much. I'd like to thank my dad for being here today. It was a moment I didn't think it might happen about a month ago. We're both very stubborn, very similar, and if we have a disagreement, it could take years before we speak to each other. But he was the one that decided to break the truce, so I'm glad you did, and thank you for being here today. I'd like to thank my nan and granddad who are here today, who hopefully me and Amy can emulate in the years to come. From my side of the family, they're the only relationship which is still together. So, yeah, I have to look to you guys for inspiration, because there's little else. But you've been an amazing couple. Yeah. And the love that you still have for each other inspires, I think, everyone that knows you guys. And it's a real privilege to have you still around and being very active in our lives. And thanks for looking after the dogs tonight. On to Miss Amy Ryan, or A. Ryan, as people know her. That is now A. Adore, which again is a much bigger improvement. So not only have we changed your name, we've also, you know, got this to stand by your side for the rest of your life. But I'm not sure if everyone knows how me and Amy met, so I'll briefly show you. But it was in a lovely place called Duke's nightclub in Chelmsford. classy venues, very similar to this. Except there was chewing gum on the floor. No, there wasn't chewing gum. Apparently I tried it on with Amy's friends, all of them, before I got to Amy. And when I then obviously got to Amy, she was having none of it and told me where to go. Later on that night, I was making sure that one of the walls wasn't going to fall down and lean up against it when all of a sudden this blonde girl out of nowhere just comes up to me and says, "Here he is, this is my boyfriend." And I looked up and it was Amy Ryan. It turns out some guy was chatting her up, she saw me and thought, he's lesser of two evils, I'll go with him. Anyway, she asked me what her name was, and luckily, as paralytic as I was, I've got a pretty good memory. So I amazed her by saying it was Amy, and after that, she was polite enough to give me her phone number. Anyway, next day, I text her saying, "Nice to meet you, maybe go out for dinner." No reply. Day 2, maybe she didn't get it, I try again. So I text her again, and still no reply. Now, comes a little bit of a shock to someone like myself. So I decided to keep persisting and thought there must be an issue. So she must have lost her phone or it wasn't working or whatever. But I said, if you don't answer this, I'm going to take it as a yes, so you want me to keep replying. And I sent her probably about 20 or 30 texts. And it came to the point where I said, meet me at this point on this day, and if you don't reply, I'm going to take that as a yes. All of a sudden, I got a text message back saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you've been texting me all week. I've had no credit." That old chestnut. And we arranged to meet at Billericay Station where I was going to go get a tattoo. What a romantic first date. Okay? I met her there, I was waiting, I saw her, she walked in, I was in the garage probably getting some chewing gum, and she walked straight past me. I said, "Amy," straight past me. She had her headphones in, didn't recognise me. So I then let her walk out, gone and got my chewing gum, thought I'll go back to the station and meet her where I'm meant to. Met her at the station, think we got the tattoo, went to Prezzo, and back to mine. And yeah, nothing happened, despite my best efforts.
There must have been a soccer game, right?
Yeah, and the third date, she moved in. No kidding, she literally moved in. She bought her clothes, and that was the last time she ever went home. And that was nearly 11 years ago.
Did Mum know about that?
Yeah, she knew. Mum was never really there, so it was quite lucky. Barbados, wherever else you jet set to, Mother. Don't know where I get that from. But the last 11 years, there's been so many ups, downs, and events and things that we've done together that when you look back, it looks like two different people. And a lot of people from the outside recently are like, well, maybe she's only there because, you treat her, you spoil her, or we go to nice places. Well, this is not from people that know her. Obviously, everyone else that knows her knows it's not the case. But from the outside, people do sometimes perceive things a little bit differently. All I would say is, talking back to one of the best holidays we've ever been on was Cyprus, right back at the start. And we had no money. I'd actually worked with my dad. I turned up for a job with my dad, was doing a garden out in Pitsea, then I was helping him labour on him. I turned up in typical attire. I had my flip-flops on, aviators and a pair of shorts. And he looked at me, he was like, "You're taking the piss." Anyway, he no doubt charged the guy 200 quid, gave me 50 of that, and I had £250 worth of spending money to go on holiday to Cyprus with. So that was good enough, we went away. And it's so bad that we didn't even know the hotel we was going to. We had a choice of 5, and it was from Thompson or someone. And we looked at them and thought, they're all good, bar one. As long as we get one of the others, what's the chances? 20%, we'll be fine. We got the bad one. Turned up, and they said, as we were checking in, "Do you want to buy a remote for the air conditioning?" So you are? "Do you want to buy a remote for the air conditioning?" I was like, "No." Out of, one, I've only got no money, and 2, I'm not buying a remote. So we've got to the room, it's bloody boiling. So we decided to take the bed out to the balcony. which was a great idea. It was actually really nice. We listened to the ocean, breeze, brilliant. Until we had a cream fight, and ants were everywhere. We were riddled with ants. We went sat there one night, and we counted 17 things that were wrong with Amy. Whether it be cystitis, sunburn, peeling, eye infection, sea urchin in the foot, broken toe. We went through 17 things. But anyway, later on in the holiday, we ran out of money with about 2 days to go. And Amy took to stealing pot noodles from the local shop. And I was stealing drinks. Well, I say I wasn't stealing drinks, I was waiting for people, like, say, this sort of scenario, leaving their dinner and would go drink their empties. We was that poor, we had no money whatsoever. And for months after, we was using McDonald's vouchers to eat. So she stuck by me 3 times where we really had sod all. So I never really doubted what Amy's interests were. It was obviously the money maker. But no, I mean, I think that people ask what you're going to say in your speech, how are you going to say you love her? I could say a million things. Nothing's really going to really justify it with words. I'm not the most articulate at the best of times. All I would say is that when you're not around, life feels a little bit less fun. The memories are not really worth having because you're not there to share them with. And you complete the life that I've got and have had for the last 10, 11 years. And I really look forward to the future with you, simply because without it I couldn't imagine it. You've made such a difference to my life. I always, when I was a kid, thought I'd be a playboy, I'd be like George Clooney and never settle down. And I still felt that, I think, a few years ago. But yeah. Then I saw you get married. I thought, if George can do it, I can do it. No, I mean, what could I want more in a girl? You're stunning, you're beautiful, you are your biggest critic. You'll always be working on something, or trying to lose weight or changing your hair. I can't get bored of you because you haven't looked the same month by month since we've been together. Yes, whether you're changing your hair, your nose, or whatever. So, Lola. Either way, I love the fact that you do look after yourself. Hey, listen, we're talking about noses, you shouldn't be getting involved. Sorry, you've got bigger shoulders than me, I apologise. But listen.
Can you wind this up under the piss?
Yeah. Everyone that's in this room, you all mean a great amount to both of us. I'd like to thank my best man for not being too terrible with the speech. I did wonder where you was going at one point, and I wondered where you was going at one point. I was even looking at which window I was going to throw you, but it was actually very, thoughtful and touching. And thank you for helping me out with, not very much, but thank you for at least turning up. Listen, I hope you enjoyed your meal. I hope you've enjoyed the ceremony. We're going to have some live music come on soon. But yeah, just to finish, Amy, I love you, and I'm so happy to be your husband. And hopefully we'll be having many more events like this in the future, celebrating other things. But it's great to have everyone together. Thank you.